Good Monday, everyone. Welcome to GardenStateWeather.com, New Jersey and the Northern Mid-Atlantic region's weather portal, in-depth forecast analysis video discussion. This is Monday, the 9th of December. Wow, this month is flying by. 2019, I'm meteorologist Robert Smith. Okay, we'll begin the forecast with temperatures at 8 o'clock yesterday morning on Sunday morning. Found temperatures in the single digits and teens across a large chunk of the northeastern United States, especially into New York City and parts south into the upper teens and low 20s. It's a different story this morning again, as we have a lot of warm air advection occurring in the atmosphere. And it's now in the 30s and low to mid 40s across the region. Even temperatures approaching the mid 50s off the coastlines here of Jersey and down through Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia. Still chilly in the 40s, but you generally get it. We have warm air advection occurring, and even in places like Cleveland yesterday, where we had temperatures in the 30s and 20s and 40s, and they've all risen up now into the 40s and 50s across the region. Yesterday morning at 8 o'clock, we had very little winds with high pressure in control here. This is an outlier here at 51 miles an hour. That's an outlier here from yesterday. But you generally get the idea. We had very little wind yesterday, obviously, and then the winds kicked up in the afternoon. Now, of course, this morning we have no mixing yet in the atmosphere, so the winds are still kind of light, but they're starting to increase here. And we notice a big change here where the winds are continuing to increase. Now, again, this is early in the morning, so there's not a lot of mixing yet. The sun is just getting going here. I know you're saying it's cloudy and it's raining, but mixing in the atmosphere takes a couple of hours as the sun gets going in the atmosphere. Again, we're going to start with the upper level water vapor imagery. This is showing us our polar and tropical jet stream feeds here. We have a new storm diving into the northwestern United States and an active flow pattern across the country here from west to east. And again, a large amount of moisture in this subtropical jet stream, all streaming in towards the northern and eastern mid-Atlantic region. See this nicely on the mid-level water vapor channel, very nicely here. We've got a couple of disturbances here in the northern and polar jet stream here across the upper Midwest, and here's a new storm diving into the northwest. Here's an upper level low now getting into Baja California, and here's our very, very active subtropical jet stream. And you see the interaction between the polar and tropical jet streams here to combine their energies together and deliver us some rain. And of course, the low-level water vapor channel showing the same kind of thing. You get it, all three levels of the atmosphere working in tandem together to show you the depiction of where the moisture feed is coming from. And there's quite a lot of moisture here to deal with as we get through the next 24 to 36 hours. Here's the national mosaic of radars across the country. Here we've got rain coming into southern and central portions of New Mexico and Arizona here. Vestiges of precipitation left over here in Nevada. And of course, with our storm system getting out into the plains, we've got rain breaking out, moving in towards the Great Lakes here and the Ohio and Tennessee River valleys. And of course, our return flow showing up nicely across the area as light rain is now getting into northeast Jersey in the city. And this plume of moisture here off of the Carolina coast, again, feeding up into the region. Now, I did notice in the National Weather Service's forecast discussion that this area here and into portions of the Hudson River Valley and the Poconos here for some light freezing rain this morning, but temperatures are definitely warming. When the precipitation started this morning, they were around or below freezing here this morning, but now they've risen above freezing, and I'm not seeing any reports of freezing precipitation in this area here. Otherwise, we generally have gale warnings and small craft advisories along the coast, but that's the only advisories we have at this time. Look at this. Temperatures have risen into the 50s into New York City or just east of New York City here in New York JFK, at 52 at Farmingdale. So temperatures are definitely rising on this southerly wind. Even in New Jersey this morning, we have temperatures that are still chilly here in the 30s across northern New Jersey, and they're rising into the 40s. And look at this, temperatures in the 50s now, 56 degrees at Cape May, 53 degrees at Atlantic City's Marina, 54 at Egg Harbor, and across the coastlines here in Seaside Heights at 53 this morning at 9 a.m. And we can see this morning the coastal front here is definitely enhancing the rainfall amounts here and the warmer advection going on around the immediate coastlines here with this first disturbance here in the subtropical jet stream. And of course, we have more rain coming in on the western side of this, but heading up towards the Great Lakes. But that's going to fill in later today. Remember, yesterday we talked about a break in the action in western spots with the activity, but that's going to fill in during the afternoon. Here is the latest 36-hour forecast from the HRR model guidance. It comes in every, 6 or 8 hours. It goes out to 18 hours, and then every few hours it comes out to 36 hours. We can see even on Doppler, it's got everything pretty close here, maybe a little bit overdone on the western side here as of the observations this morning, but you get the idea that there's going to be a split and a break in the precipitation across western areas. And we can see that model guidance is trying to do the same thing, where all the moderate to heavy rain heads up towards Boston, New Haven, and New York, and out over the ocean. Here comes our upper level low and our surface cold front across Detroit, Cleveland, Traverse City, and of course down to Pittsburgh and Roanoke, and all this rain will be heading into the area during the afternoon hours. So even though there's a break in the precipitation on the western side in Jersey and Washington, D.C., that's all going to fill in during the afternoon, as we mentioned yesterday, and we can see that nicely. It's moderate to heavy rain coming across the region, and it probably will be raining pretty good this afternoon for your afternoon commute, and of course your evening commute as well. As we get towards this evening, the rain will start to head into New Haven and Boston and New York, and additional rains are still showing up here across the region as the front is slow to pass through the area, and another wave of low pressure is going to be developing. So another break in the precipitation shield late tonight and early tomorrow morning, and then comes additional rain as we head into Tuesday. As this front begins to slide south, so there'll be some additional rain again on Tuesday morning around your morning commute here around the area. And again, throughout the day on Tuesday, more additional rain is inbound, and this will probably last into the afternoon and evening hours as the front begins to slide gradually to the south. And taking this further out to 60 hours on the North American model guidance, the NAM model guidance, we can see the front is very slow to move through the area. If we take this back to Tuesday afternoon, here's some additional precipitation occurring now as the cold air is coming in, and this would be for Tuesday night. So the NAM model keeps the precipitation going as this front slowly works its way through the area. And notice the precipitation still falling even on Wednesday morning. This is where we're going to take a look at the temperature profiles in the atmosphere and find out exactly what's going on. But none of this is actually going to clear the area until probably Wednesday morning, or that's late Wednesday morning, early Wednesday afternoon. Now, the NAM model guidance winter overview here wants to mix some of the precipitation over on tonight into tomorrow morning, especially over the higher elevations of the Poconos and especially up towards Albany here. We can even see this in the indications. The pinks are representative of either some snow or some sleet in the forecast. And if we move this forward in time as we head through the day on Tuesday morning, actually, it's changing some of the precipitation over to snow. Now, of course, these are total snow amounts that the model guidance is seeing. This may not actually reach the ground because the ground is going to be very warm, but it's showing the totals here for the 36 to 60 hour out forecast here. So, there's no advisories in effect right now because the ground is going to be very warm from the antecedent rain from today, tonight, and tomorrow morning, but you generally get the idea that the model guidance is definitely showing a change over to snow. And if we go through this, we can see our freezing line here. This is our freezing line here in the green. And that's an indication that, any kind of precipitation that is falling in this area, north of 78, 80, probably anywhere north of that, it's going to start and begin to change over to some freezing precipitation. Most likely it's going to be in the form of snow or some sleet. Again, the model guidance not expecting this to really accumulate, but there could be some accumulations at higher elevations as we get through the morning hours here on Wednesday, and definitely Tuesday night. And it's seeing snow actually all the way to the coast, so we're going to pay attention to this. As I mentioned, even if the NAM model guidance is showing a changeover to snow or sleet in the air, probably snow, late tonight, tomorrow, especially tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, the temperature profile at the surface will not support, snow reaching the ground. Well, I mean, if it reaches the ground, that's fine, but we're not dealing with accumulation, because if we look at the temperature profile here, we can definitely see that when the Arctic air comes in, and we're looking at it now coming out of Chicago, Green Bay, Milwaukee, we still have temperatures in the 40s on Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, 50s too, and 60s. Okay, so, but that's being pushed out by all this cold air that's moving in on Wednesday morning, late tomorrow night. On Wednesday morning, we're finding temperatures in the Poconos getting back into the 30s. And some of that cold air now bleeding into the forecast as we head in towards northwestern New Jersey and the Hudson River Valley area, Connecticut on Wednesday morning proper. And see this at the last loop here, where the temperatures are, in the morning are starting to rise. But you get the idea. The Arctic front is now passing through the region. National Weather Service digital forecast database through Thursday, and obviously by that time, all the precipitation will have been gone. But look at these amounts of rainfall here. Better than 1.5 inches, almost up to 2 inches in spots over interior Connecticut and central and eastern Long Island here. Less amounts as you head down to the Jersey Shore, where all of the activity between the polar and subtropical jet streams meet over this area here. So a lot of rain. But it's going to come in pockets and pieces. So there's no flash flood watches or warnings or any of that stuff in nature. But keep in mind, all the trees and everything that still have leaves on them coming down, that's going to cause some clogged drains and some poor drainage, rainfall driving conditions. Snowfall. This is going to be a surprise, whether the Arctic front and antifrontal conditions of the front itself. Antifrontal means precipitation behind the front can actually get in here and change the precipitation to snow, which the model guidance is showing. But how much of that is actually going to reach the ground? I just showed you what the temperature forecasts look like, but here is the digital database showing, now it's possible to get several inches here. I don't know if this is possible here, 5 inches in the Poconos here, but it's definitely possible in the upper higher elevations here to get a couple of inches of snow. But this looks suspect to me, especially out on eastern Long Island. I just don't see this actually panning out. So, and that's what it showed this morning for total snowfall here. But again, I'm going to keep my eye on this. But this looks, in this area here, this looks suspect. This is possible now, especially at higher elevations, but I wouldn't put too much weight into this right yet. Taking a look at the Mid-Atlantic region's temperature profiles for today, we're finding temperatures rising on the southerly flow into the 50s and upper 50s in southern New Jersey and out on central and eastern Long Island. Tomorrow it's going to warm up even more because the front hasn't gotten through here yet, so its temperature is going to be in the upper 50s to lower 60s for highs, and then everything crashes. And as the Arctic front comes in on Wednesday, notice temperatures dropping now into the 30s across interior portions of the region, low to mid 30s at best here in the Poconos, and low 40s along the coast. Temperatures really plummet on Thursday as the Arctic air mass is invading. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 20s to mid 30s across the entire forecast region. Recovery comes on Friday with temperatures in the upper 30s across the interior, low to mid 40s, and even 50 around the coast in southern New Jersey, and temperatures rising again on Saturday as a new batch of precipitation gets in here on Friday. We'll talk about that in the next video forecast discussion. That's going to change, and some of this precipitation could be frozen at the onset on Friday night, but we'll deal with that in the next segment of the video forecast discussion coming up later this morning. And then on Saturday, temperatures rising again into the upper 50s across the region, upper 40s north, mid 50s south, and temperatures again in the 40s to around 50 degrees, slightly above normal again on Sunday. Here is a quick look at the national temperatures forecasted for highs for today. Notice the polar Arctic air mass in place over the upper Midwest here. Temperatures really quite mild here across the eastern United States, getting into the 80s here in Florida. but that's all going to change by tomorrow. The only warmth here is coming to an end. It is still going to be quite warm across the northeastern United States and the mid-Atlantic coast states down through the southeast. And here comes the cold air and it's invading. And as we get into day 4, which is going to be on, Thursday? Here's all the cold air across the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and the Northeast, giving way now to that Arctic air, but still quite warm across the southern regions here of the country. Getting into, let's say, Friday or Saturday, all the warmth is here in the southeastern United States, and all the cold air is still here, but notice the air mass is already moderating as we get to Saturday here. But again, some of the precipitation coming in on Friday that we'll talk about in the next video forecast discussion, especially over the Poconos and the higher terrain of the Hudson River Valley, Connecticut, and places north, could start out as some freezing precipitation. Want to look at the 48-hour amount of precipitation here again. Active pattern across the Mississippi, Tennessee, Ohio River valleys, the northeastern United States. Look at these amounts of rain. We could be dealing with 1 to locally 2 inches of rain across northeastern New Jersey into towards northern and southern New England. So once again, this week has a lot of surprises in store, and definitely tomorrow night and Wednesday morning across northwestern New Jersey, the Hudson River Valley area, and especially the Poconos could be some surprise snow on the antifrontal or backside of this Arctic air mass that's coming in as low pressure deepens off the northeastern coast and then spreads its moisture plume northeast away from us. But again, we're going to be paying close attention to this, and we'll get into the forecast again for next weekend, which again shows another wet pattern setting up in the next video forecast discussion. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith for GardenStateWeather.com, New Jersey and the northern mid-Atlantic regions weather portal. Have a good Monday.